Hey there guys, yeah, sorry for breaking down like that. I know you guys probably wouldn't mind me showing my emotions, but just getting to that one part, getting towards the death of him, just kind of got me to break down. But I'm going to try to be strong. So, let me just recap what I was talking about earlier in that last video, because I felt like I rushed it a little bit too much, because as I said, this camera has a 10-minute limit. So let me just repeat what I say. So around February 2017, he had the cancer, but around March 2017, he gets the surgery for that. So thank God for that, and he was able to still do things, right? But then in July 4th, 2017, they find out they had to go back to the hospital again, because they find out that he had cirrhosis of the liver, and it wasn't first stage stuff, right? And then from like the 4th to the 8th, only 4 days of being in the hospital, he was able to come back home only to be in a wheelchair, and people pointing out that he wasn't the same grandpa as they known, right? And then from like the 8th to the 12th, he was doing very good until on October 12th, from like July 8th to October 12th, he had to go back to the hospital again. See? Here's the video right there, back to the hospital. But then luckily, I think in this video, he comes back home again. And then he looks a little bit more better in that video. In Happy Birthday Angry Grandpa, he looks a lot more happier in that video, right? But then from that video to what I'm going to be showing you next, guess how he looks now? Look at him. And Bridget Cooks for Grandpa, he doesn't look that happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't really look that happy. Look at him. He doesn't. And the way he sounded as well, like the way he looked at the camera, like he didn't look like his usual happy self. But then a couple of videos later from that, Angry Grandpa gets banned. Prank. Michael decides to pull a prank on Grandpa because he's noticing that Grandpa is getting more better, right? And when I saw the video, he was right. I actually kind of thought it was bullcrap that Michael was pulling that prank on him, but then when he explained the reason why he did it, I understood. But then you would think he would be better from there, right? Well, he isn't, because in this video, from bad to worse, he basically talks about how Grandpa's back in the hospital again, and this time, he doesn't show him for a while. He doesn't show him for a while until we get into this video right here, from like November 1st, when Michael's hopes were pretty much dropping because he thought his daddy was going to die, until this, because you see, Grandpa had to be in the intensive care unit. He had to be in the ICU, which means that he couldn't be filmed because he was all effed up, right? He was all effed up, but then after a while of him in the intensive care unit, they were finally able to get him to a room because he was able to get better enough, right? And he was shown again in their anniversary, Michael and Bridget's anniversary, which was November 17th, 2017, right? And then from there until going in a few days later or so, I'm just gonna show myself going in from later on, they actually get him to a rehab center, right? They actually get him to a rehab center, and he filmed a little bit there too, but not as much really, because Michael thought that his dad wasn't doing that well. So he was filming a little bit there, just like he was when he was filmed at the hospital, but not so much, because Grandpa was kind of showing signs that he wasn't doing that well again, and there's actually been moments where his ammonia levels went high again. There's moments where his ammonia levels got high again, but luckily they were able to control that. And as he started getting better and better, as the family thought, guess what happened? He returned home. That's right, Angry Grandpa comes back home. He actually comes back home, and everybody was so happy. And they were also happy to spend Thanksgiving with Grandpa as well. They were actually happy to spend Thanksgiving with him. Yeah, and unfortunately, that was their last Thanksgiving they would spend with Grandpa. So to make a long story short, he gets home, and guess what happens? Ammonia levels rise up again, And when Michael says that the doctors weren't going to do anything, couldn't do anything about it this time, I got super worried. I got super worried when Michael, and especially when Michael mentioned that he might not, when the doctor said that he might not make it through the night. And guess what the next video was? Not this video, but the next video that was put on Kid Behind the Camera was, "I love you, Dad." And I was afraid that, I'm sorry, try to be strong. I was afraid that, that was going to be the death of Angry Grandpa. I was afraid that would be the death of Angry Grandpa. And I tried to stay as optimistic as I can. I was thinking, nah, that can't be it. But then when I saw a video from the main channel, guess what it was titled? I think I already showed you. RIP Angry Grandpa. That's what it was titled, man. RIP Angry Grandpa. And you could tell that Michael was devastated in that video. He was pretty devastated by it. And so was Charlie and a lot of other people. And guess what? That video made about 2.2 million views in just a day. And guys, I want to thank you so much for supporting us. This is me, Angry Grandpa, talking now. I want to thank you youngins so much for supporting us. And just being there for us for everything that's happened, even at moments where Grandpa said, though, that he didn't want the camera on, it would be on anyway, so that you guys could see what was happening. Yeah? Oh, I think those were at times where maybe, at moments where Angry Grandpa left his house and all that, but still, that's something. He's always, even at times where he might say he doesn't want the camera on, he does. You know why? Because he doesn't want to hide anything from you youngins. You guys have always been there for him. And I thank you. I thank you for supporting us, basically. So, rest in peace, Angry Grandpa. You had a good 67 years. Had good times, you had bad times. Even at times where you're destructive, that showed signs that you had a lot of energy, and you were always happy and all that. Man, I'm sad now that you passed. It's been sad. I had a feeling that this happened because, 1 year and 1 month ago when Majority Nuggets came to their house, they had an argument, and Michael basically made a point saying, when Dad dies, the channel's gonna die with him. And that's not true. That's not entirely true. They still watch the video. That video got 2.2 million views. I don't know if it's going to keep on continuing, but we'll see what happens. Alright. I'm going to get out of here, youngins. And I don't know what this will mean for me. This Angry Grandpa right here. I don't know what that's going to mean for me if I'm still going to be in videos, but we'll see. Because the real me has died, so I don't know what that's going to mean for me. If I'm going to die or what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be in videos or what. But we'll see. Alright. I love you youngins to death. And yeah. Have a good day.